still remember sitting across from a girl I thought I was in love with. Candlelight dinner, low jazz in the background, 2 plates of untouched pasta between us. But she wasn't looking at me. Not really. She was scanning the room, half listening, nodding politely like I was a stranger pitching a startup idea. And that's when it hit me. I'd lost something. Not her, something more dangerous. Her respect. And the worst part, I didn't even notice it slipping away. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to never end up in that chair. Exactly what it takes to earn and keep a woman's respect without pretending, chasing, or overcompensating. This isn't advice pulled off a Reddit thread. I've spent years learning the hard way. Books, real-life bruises, coaches, heartbreak, rewiring my brain, and watching other men crash the same way I did. I'm gonna tell you a real story later about a guy who had every woman chasing him and still lost it all. It'll explain why most of what you've been told about respect, attraction, and being a good man is wrong. And once you get this, you'll never look at women the same again. So don't just watch, show support, hit subscribe, and help this message reach the men who need to hear it. Here's the punch in the gut. You think respect starts with her. It doesn't. It starts with what you allow, with what you tolerate, with how you carry yourself when no one's watching. You ever notice how women talk about the guy they can't control with this weird mix of frustration and fascination? It's not just confidence, it's boundaries, it's standards, it's spine. You train people how to treat you. That includes women. And if you train her to see you as the guy who says yes too fast, who's always available, who sacrifices his edge for comfort, she'll smile. She might even say she loves you, but deep down, she won't respect you. And when respect dies, attraction dies with it. Let me tell you something you won't hear in school, therapy, or dating apps. A woman can love you and still leave you, but she will never stay with a man she doesn't respect. Because respect starts before you even meet her. There's a version of you she's never met. The one who wakes up early without an alarm. The one who trains even when he's tired. The one who doesn't need her validation because he's building something bigger. That version of you, he walks into a room and people feel it. Not because he's loud, but because he knows exactly who he is and what he won't tolerate. I met a guy like this once. His name was Marcus. We were both at a networking event. I was still figuring myself out. Chasing, pleasing, nervous. He was calm, quiet, didn't talk much. But when he did speak, everyone leaned in. He told me something I never forgot. If you want her respect, don't chase her. Chase the man you're afraid to become. She'll chase you just to keep up. Marcus had women orbiting him like gravity. Not because he was rich or handsome, he was average in both, but because he had presence, discipline, non-negotiables. He didn't ask for respect, he commanded it. Now here's where most guys fail. They think, once I get her, then I'll fix myself. Wrong. She doesn't fall for your potential, she falls for the proof. Because you can't fake this. She can smell it. She sees when you fold under pressure. She sees when you avoid confrontation. She notices when your words and your actions don't match. And once she sees it, she can't unsee it. That's when it begins. The shift. The pull away, the subtle tests, the tone changes, the silence between texts gets longer, not because she stopped liking you, but because you stopped being the man she could respect. But here's the challenge. Before you demand her respect, do you respect yourself? Would you follow your own lead? Would you date you, knowing everything about your habits, fears, and contradictions? Would you trust yourself with power, money, influence? If the answer's no, then that's your mission. Don't change for her. Don't change to win her back. Change because you're tired of being out of integrity with yourself. Because you know what hurts more than losing her? Looking in the mirror and realizing you betrayed your own standards. You can lie to the world. You can flex for social media, but you can't lie to your own nervous system. It knows when you're out of alignment. It knows when you've settled. And until you fix that, she'll always sense it, even if she can't explain it. But let's talk about that moment every man dreads, the test. She says something sideways, subtle, could be a joke, could be disrespectful. You feel it in your gut. Now you've got two choices. Laugh it off like it's nothing, or hold frame. Most guys fold here. They don't want to rock the boat. They fear conflict more than self-betrayal. But here's the truth. Every time you let that slide, you're showing her who's in charge of your reality. And it's not you. She'll test because she needs to know you won't break. She doesn't want to dominate you. She wants to feel your strength, not physical strength, psychological strength, emotional self-control, the kind of power that makes her feel safe because it's rooted, not reactive. And if she senses you're weak in that moment, she won't say it. She won't scream at you. She'll just start to pull back, bit by bit. That's why it's never about what you say. It's about how solid you are inside. The guy who respects himself doesn't fear rejection. He knows who he is before she ever validates it. Let me give you a quick story. Dre was a friend of mine, was in a situationship with a woman he adored. He played it cool, said yes to everything, tried to prove he was different from other guys. But one night, she said something slick at a party, a little emasculating jab in front of her friends. He laughed it off, didn't want to make a scene, but she never looked at him the same again. 2 weeks later, she stopped texting first, stopped asking to hang out, started just needing space. She never said why, but deep down, he knew. And that was the moment he lost her respect. You don't earn respect by being nice. You earn it by being unshakable. And that means sometimes you walk away. You say no. You let her feel the consequence of crossing the line, not as punishment, but because you won't betray yourself again. You ever notice something about men who move like kings? They don't explain themselves. They don't overreact. They just are. That's because they've done the hard work in silence, built discipline when no one was watching, learned to control their emotions without numbing them, trained their minds to stay calm under fire. You feel it in how they walk, in how they speak, in what they don't say. Respect doesn't come from trying harder, it comes from needing less. And the less you need her approval, the more she wants to give it, because now she's not validating a boy, she's recognizing a man who's already chosen himself. So here's what I want you to ask yourself right now. Where are you disrespecting yourself daily? What are you tolerating that goes against your gut? Where are you saying yes when you should be walking away? This is where it begins, with standards. She can't respect a man who doesn't enforce his own code. She may admire your hustle, she may enjoy your attention, but deep down, she'll never submit to a man who doesn't lead himself first. And that leadership, it's forged in the tiny moments no one claps for. When you choose your goals over comfort, when you stay calm in chaos, when you walk away from what disrespects your worth. That's when you become unforgettable. Not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't need to explain. There's a version of you she can't manipulate, the one who's unmoved by her cold texts, unbothered by the hot and cold routine, unaffected by the games. Because he's not even playing them. He's too busy building a life that commands respect, a body that speaks before he opens his mouth, a mission that consumes his focus. And that version of you, you don't create him by reading quotes, you forge him through sacrifice. Let me break something to you. Every man who's truly respected, he's bled for it. He's endured humiliation, isolation, setbacks that would crush most people. Because self-respect isn't built in good times. It's forged when things fall apart and you refuse to fold. Women respect the man who stays calm under fire, who doesn't chase when she pulls away, who doesn't beg, who doesn't panic. She may not always understand it, but she feels it. And that feeling, it triggers something deep: security, desire, trust. You become the anchor in her storm because you've already faced your own. Let's go deeper. Have you ever been ghosted? Felt that knot in your chest? That desperate urge to text one more time just to get something back? That's not love. That's withdrawal from the validation you outsourced to her. You gave her the keys to your self-worth, and now you're locked out. That's why most men crumble, because they never built respect from within. The strongest move? Silence. Not to manipulate her, but to reclaim you. To prove to yourself that you don't chase what confuses you. You don't invest where there's no return. You don't argue for your value. You embody it. And when you get that deep into your power, they feel it. The same woman who left you on red starts watching your stories. The same one who said she needed space starts circling back. The same one who acted like she didn't care starts slipping into your orbit again. Not because you begged, not because you tried, because you stopped needing. Now, let me bring you back to the story I promised. I once had a client. His name was Zach, tall, jacked, had a 6-figure income. The kind of guy you'd think women would be chasing. Well, they did at first. But over time, Every relationship collapsed. Same pattern. They'd fall fast. Then they'd start pulling away, testing him, disrespecting him, until they left. At this point, he was confused. Until we peeled it back, Zach had no boundaries. He feared confrontation. He apologized just to avoid arguments. He thought being the good guy was enough. But deep down, he was insecure. He didn't believe he deserved the pedestal he was put on, so he tried to earn it by pleasing, and every woman sensed it. They saw the cracks in his frame. They couldn't respect him because he didn't respect himself. But when he stopped trying to win them over, when he started enforcing non-negotiables, that's when everything changed. Same guy, but now he was leading, not reacting. He lost a few women, but the one who stayed, she was all in, because he finally gave her something worth submitting to: certainty. You want a woman to respect you? Don't start with her. Start with your rituals. Start with how you talk to yourself, how you show up when no one's clapping, what you choose when it's hard, what you walk away from, even if it hurts. Respect isn't a demand, it's a side effect of inner alignment, of standards, of courage, not loud courage, but that quiet, steady, masculine certainty. That's the man she can't ignore. That's the man she fears losing. That's the man who never has to chase again, because he is the prize. But earning her respect is just one step to becoming a better version of yourself, because you'll never become a better man if your life feels shallow. So here's a video where I break down exactly why your life feels shallow and how to fix it. So click on it and I'll see you there.